Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you guys my WWE NXT Takeover Chicago review. I'm finally getting a chance to sit down and watch the show. I didn't get a chance to yesterday like I wanted to, just because of the fact that I was busy doing other things, getting dinner and stuff, and I was watching the WWE shows I had to watch yesterday, so that way I could sit down and watch the show today. Wouldn't have to worry about that, and I could do other videos over the week. So I'm here right now to give you my WWE NXT Takeover Chicago review, and if you want to know what my overall thoughts going into this show are, please make sure to click this video right up here where I gave my WWE NXT Takeover Chicago predictions, because I did do that. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Overall, it looks like a really good show. I'm just gonna sit down and stop talking so that way I can get to the watching the show itself. I'm gonna structure this review the same way I normally did when I did the Retro Wrestling Review series for every NXT special. I'm gonna review the pre-show first, and then I'm gonna review the actual show itself, all the different takes after each match or segment. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and let's just get right into it. Okay, so starting off with the pre-show, we had Charlie Caruso, Nigel McGuinness, and Peter Rosenberg on the panel for it. I thought they did a pretty good job on the panel. Pretty much what they did was they just talked about the angles and the matches going on, what they normally do. And they showed a few hype video packages. I liked the hype video package for the United Kingdom Championship match, and I liked the hype video package for the NXT Tag Team title match. But my favorite one was probably the hype video package for the NXT Championship match between Hideo Itami and Bobby Roode. I just thought that was great. Just showing, Hideo Itami coming into NXT, debuted at NXT TakeOver Fatal 4-Way, and hitting the GTS for the first time in 2015, competed at WrestleMania 31. He had made a promise at NXT TakeOver Fatal 4-Way that he was going to become the NXT champion, but then, it shows him getting injured at NXT TakeOver Unstoppable, and how, while he was hurt, NXT became this big brand, and all the people that were there with him got the big opportunities, and he was just left sitting on the sidelines. He was out for 1 year and 4 months. He was just waiting for an opportunity to come back, and he was a little bit disappointed he didn't get to be a part of NXT becoming this big brand. Then he finally came back on an episode of NXT in August of 2016, and then he got hurt again. He ended up getting a neck injury, and then it all just fell apart for him again. And he said he wanted, his opportunity. You have Bobby Roode talking about how he came to NXT to change this brand of it and to make it his NXT. He talked about how Hideo Itami was the last real NXT original, and he just is going to put him down for good. I thought that was a great promo by Roode. It shows the face-offs together, and I really enjoyed that video package. It's a great story for Hideo Itami, so I like that. But going on to the actual stuff that did happen on the pre-show, we had Ember Moon get interviewed. She pretty much broke down the NXT Women's Championship match, and Ember Moon talks about how because she ended up getting injured, and it was supposed to be a Fatal 4-Way match, but instead it's a triple threat because she got injured. Ember Moon talks about how she's lucky that it wasn't like a career-ending injury, or it was going to be an injury where she was going to be out 6 months, because then because now she's hungrier, and it makes her thankful for it. She talks about, how she doesn't care who wins this match, she just wants to face the winner to become the NXT Women's Champion. But then Nigel McGuinness is like, yeah, but don't you want to face Asuka, since she's the one that injured you, and you want to be the one to beat her streak? And then she says that whether Asuka wins tonight or not, I'm going to get my retribution one way or the other. So still planting the seed for a rematch between Asuka and Ember Moon for the NXT Women's Championship, which I like. And then Roderick Strong gets interviewed, and he talks about his match with Eric Young. and he says he warns Eric Young never to bring up his family again, and then that was it. Overall, I thought it was a decent promo. It hyped up the match, and then that was the whole pre-show. Overall, the pre-show I thought was a solid pre-show, just a good sit-through. But now that I've watched the pre-show, I'm gonna watch the actual show itself. Okay, so we had the actual show itself. It shows a nice little hype video package, really hyping up the show. I thought it was pretty well done. We had the commentary team of Nigel McGuinness, Tom Phillips, and Percy Watson. Everybody knows how I feel about each guy on that commentary team. If you've watched the Retro Wrestling Review series where I talked about the NXT specials. We had the first match on the show. It was Eric Young with Alexander Wolfe and Killian Dane versus Roderick Strong. One thing I liked about this was when Roderick Strong did his entrance, it actually looks like Eric Young's tattoo was like a light up. It was like a glow in the dark tattoo because of the way his entrance looks. But Roderick Strong's music plays and he doesn't show. And we're kind of left thinking what's going on. And eventually he jumps the barricade and he takes out Killian Dane. He throws him into the post, and then he hits a sidewalk, like a back suplex into a backbreaker onto Alexander Wolfe on the outside. So I kind of like that they did this because it made sense. Take out the two guys since you had a numbers advantage, and it was a surprise and was definitely a good way to start. It made Roderick Strong look really smart. And Eric Young's all disappointed that he has to face him by himself. Roderick Strong dominates the first half of the matchup. He beats the crap out of Eric Young, hits a chop on the outside, and eventually Eric Young's able to hit a boot right to the head, and he hits a belly-to-back suplex, and Eric Young takes control for a couple of minutes, and Dane and Wolfe start to get to the feet. And Eric Young hits a running neck breaker, covers him, Roderick Strong kicks out. Roderick Strong starts to make his comeback, and he goes for a running knee, but Alexander Wolfe pushes Young out of the way, and he ends up hitting Alexander Wolfe, and he takes a cheap, Roderick Strong realizes he's going to be at a numbers of disadvantage again. He hits a right hand onto Killian Dane, and he trips Eric Young, and he lands back first onto the apron. And while the referee's distracted, checking on Young, Killian Dane hits a high crossbody on the outside. So this allows Young to get in control for a long time. He hits a axe handle from the apron onto the back of the head of Strong. He hits a hangman's neck breaker or submission, I forget what the name of it, onto Strong while he's on the turnbuckle. He hits a axe handle to the back of the neck from the turnbuckle. And Eric Young just really dominates the matchup. Roderick Strong starts to make his comeback. He hits a backbreaker into the the back suplex into the backbreaker. He hits a high knee in the corner, a clothesline, and then he hits a he just really starts to make his comeback. And eventually, Roderick Strong hits a face first move. I forget the name of it. Covers him. Eric Young kicks out. Eric Young rolls out of the ring, and Roderick Strong goes to go after him. And Young hits a wheelbarrow neck breaker on the floor, which I thought was cool. And then they get back in the ring. They start trading shots. Young hits like a quick right hand, and Strong goes down. He goes to go off the top turnbuckle, but Roderick Strong fights back, and he tries to prevent him from doing so. But Eric Young pushes him off. Eric Young hits an elbow drop right to the heart of Roderick Strong. Covers him. Strong kicks out. And then eventually Roderick Strong hits a high knee on Eric Young. And then he goes to do a superplex off the top turnbuckle. Young tries to reverse it. Strong gets off it, hits a high knee while he's on the turnbuckle, and Young falls down and lands onto Wolfe and Dane. And this allows Roderick Strong to take advantage, and he hits another high knee onto Eric Young, and he hits a suplex into a backbreaker for the win. And afterwards, he quickly runs out of the ring because Dane and Wolfe were going to come in there, and they would have beaten the shit out of him if he didn't. And yeah, I thought this was a good opening matchup here. I thought it had some very high-paced stuff. It was exciting, and Roderick Strong winning makes sense because it seems like they're trying to push him probably to become #1 contender at some point to the NXT Championship. And I definitely think this feud is going to continue. Yeah, I just thought it was a good opening matchup here. Okay, so next match was a United Kingdom Championship match. United Kingdom Champion Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne. And before I talk about the match, they went out Jim Ross to do commentary for this match, which I thought was awesome. Jim Ross, it was only Jim Ross and Nigel McGuinness doing commentary for this match. And Nigel McGuinness didn't act like his heel self like he normally is in NXT. He actually was acting like a face commentator, actually kind of acting like a little bit of a play-by-play guy, so I was actually pretty happy about that. And, you know, having Jim Ross on commentary for this match really made this match feel old school. I thought this really upped the match because it showed that it was important. And I just think Jim Ross and Nigel McGuinness have great chemistry when they're on commentary together. So I love that they, put him out there on commentary. Jim Ross is just fantastic at being a commentator, and having him on this show definitely made it. And this match just gave it that old school vibe, and it made this match actually important. So we had the match itself, though. I thought the match was fantastic. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne start chain wrestling each other. Eventually, Tyler Bate hits a drop kick, which drives Dunne out of the ring. And Dunne goes to go after him. Not Dunne. Bate goes to go after him. Dunne hits a forearm right to his face. And he goes to target the injured hand of Tyler Bate. He bends his fingers while he's on the steps. And he goes to stomp on his hand while it's on the steel steps. But Tyler Bate moves his hand out of the way. He hits a right hand on Dunne. And he hits a uppercut off the steps. And then Dunne takes a cheap shot at him. He hits a X-Press onto the apron, which I thought looked sick. And he gets him into the hammerlock submission. And Pete Dunne dominates Tyler Bate. He really works over his hand. And he actually puts it down on the mat, just stomps right on his hand, which I thought looked brutal. Just the way Pete Dunne wrestles and really works over your fingers, it just, makes me kind of cringe a little bit, just because Pete Dunne, because I can't, imagine, having your fingers bent doesn't feel good, and just having someone just tear away at him for a while really just, but eventually Tyler Bate hits a big clothesline on Dunne. He starts to make his comeback, and what else? I know it's kind of, they just really start going at each other. It started to become a really back and forth match. Pete Dunne hits a wicked drop kick in this match. Not Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Tyler Bate goes for the Tyler Driver. 97. Pete Dunne counters it, and actually no, that's not what happens next. What happens next is Tyler Bate hits a drop kick from the top rope, and he hits a springboard uppercut, and Pete Dunne gets him into a triangle choke. Tyler Bate, and he's taking right hands at Tyler Bate as he has him in this move. Tyler Bate hits a powerbomb on him to fight out of it, and Pete Dunne hits a suplex into a powerbomb, which I thought was fantastic. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne then have an intense face-off with each other, and where they really just start laying away with each other with right hands. And Tyler Bate hits an enziguri on him. Tyler Bate hits a couple uppercuts in the corner. Pete Dunne hits an enziguri on him in the corner. And you could just feel that they really hated each other. Eventually, Pete Dunne throws Tyler Bate to the corner. Bate rebounds and hits a clothesline on him, which I thought was fantastic. And he goes for the Tyler Driver 97. Pete Dunne counters it, goes for the bitter end. Dunne counters into a DDT. Then he hits a 5-star moonsault from the turnbuckle on the outside, and then he hits an inverted 450 in the ring, covers him. Dunne kicks out, and then Tyler Bate goes for one final move. He goes for the suicide dive on the outside. Dunn catches him into a forearm, and he puts him back in the ring and hits the bitter end for the win. And Pete Dunne becomes the brand new United Kingdom champion. I thought the match, like I said, was fantastic. Having Jim Ross out there made the match feel a little bit different, and it made it feel like it was really old school. This was a great showcase for these two, and really helped get this United Kingdom division, or whatever it's going to be, on the mat. And the fans loved this match. They were chanting, "This is awesome." They chanted UK at it, Bruiserweight, and yeah, it just the match really worked. And you know, Pete Dunne is just fantastic. I just think he's a great wrestler. I think the way he's just methodical is awesome. And Tyler Bate, you know, like I said, wasn't a bad champion, but Pete Dunne, they were really pushing him. And if they want to get this United Kingdom division working, I think Pete Dunne's the perfect guy to really put it in position. You know, he's been really dominant lately. I think he can do some great things with the United Kingdom Championship, and I'm assuming they're gonna have a rematch. And having Jim Ross here, I think really helps get people to pay attention to this division, because it makes it feel like a big deal. And I just thought this was a great match. I don't know if it's gonna be match of the night, but we're gonna have to wait and see, right? But yeah, overall, great match. Okay, so we had the next match. It was a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. NXT Women's Champion Asuka versus Nikki Cross versus Ruby Riott. Tom Phillips and Percy Watson were back on commentary for this match, which kind of hurt the match, because I just heard Jim Ross on commentary, and yeah, it just kind of makes you really realize how bad the commentary team is in WWE today, when you hear Jim Ross and then you hear Tom Phillips and Percy Watson. I mean, Percy Watson's getting better, but Tom Phillips is just, but especially compared to, like, Jim Ross. They should have just had Jim Ross commentate this whole show. This match was really average. There was points I got into it. But yeah, there was just a lot of stuff I didn't like about this match. Why was Asuka wrestling this match as a face if she just turned heel at NXT Takeover Orlando? She wrestled this match like a face, even though she's been acting like a heel the past since NXT Takeover Orlando. That didn't make any sense. But the match starts. Nikki Cross throws her jacket right at Ruby Riott, which throws her out of the ring. And the match is just down to, like, Asuka versus Nikki Cross. I still like I said before, I still hate the fact that they make, like, Nikki Cross look like she's, like, dominant enough to go up against Asuka. That bitch ain't worth nothing. Nikki Cross is terrible. It shows in this match. Asuka hits the hip attack, knocking Nikki Cross off. Not Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott. I can never remember that girl's name either. I always mess it up. But knocking Ruby Riott off the apron. And then Nikki Cross, like, attacks Asuka from behind and hits terrible moves on her. Nikki Cross, I don't know, maybe she's not bad, but maybe she just can't pull this gimmick off. But it's just something, like, her offense is terrible. But Asuka and Asuka and Ruby Riott are able to knock Nikki Cross out of the ring. There you have an altercation. I thought they had a pretty decent altercation together. Asuka throws Ruby Riott outside the ring, and then Nikki Cross, and then it's just down to, like, Nikki Cross and Ruby Riott. They get into an exchange. Nikki Cross goes to throw Ruby Riott into the steps, and then she bounces off the steps and takes out Asuka, which I thought was a nice spot. But then Nikki Cross just ruins. Every time the match got good, Nikki Cross fucking ruined it. And hits, like, terrible offense on fucking Ruby Riott. Like, she gets up on her back and just starts punching it. It was terrible. I believe, like, Nikki Cross hit, like, yeah, she just dominated the match. It's kind of tough to go from that great United Kingdom Championship match to, like, this match, too. Like, this match was just compared to that. Like I said, hearing Tom Phillips and Percy Watson again on commentary ruined the match. And, Asuka, like, hit a suicide dive through the ropes. what's her name? Ruby Riott hit a suicide dive herself. Then she hit like a senton off the top turnbuckle off onto Nikki Cross, covered her. Asuka breaks it up. Then she goes to do it to Asuka. Asuka catches her into the Asuka lock, which was a great spot, but then Nikki Cross comes in. Splash. One funny spot was when Nikki Cross hit like a drop kick or something, and then Asuka came in and like jumped and hit a drop kick on Nikki Cross, and like hit Ruby Riott's knees. It kind of looked funny. And then Asuka, what else happens? Asuka throws Ruby Riott out of the ring, and Nikki Cross hits like a hits a neck breaker off the top rope onto Asuka. Covers her. Ruby Riott breaks it up, but she still had Asuka pinned. Like she was just standing there with that crazed look, and Asuka's shoulders were down, and her foot wasn't underneath the ropes or anything. The referee didn't count, and technically Nikki Cross should have won the match right there, which was terrible. Then Asuka and Nikki Cross dispose of Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross dispose of Asuka. Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross hit roll-ups on each other. Ruby Riott hit some sort of move. I forget the move, not gonna lie, just legit do. And then Asuka, she covers Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross kicks out. Asuka hits like a one-in shining wizard on Ruby Riott and covers Nikki Cross for the win. But if you watch it back, it looks like Nikki Cross has Ruby Riott's shoulders pinned to the floor. So I don't know, it's supposed to be a controversial finish. The referee like looks perplexed about it, but he still awards the win to Asuka. So the finish I thought was kind of weak. And Ember Moon you see watching up from like the crowd, and this match needed Ember Moon. Like it really sucks that she got hurt, because this match really needed Ember Moon in it. I feel like because she got hurt, the match kind of Why was Asuka a face though? She's a heel. Like she wrestled exactly like a face. Just please, yeah, the match was average. Nothing special about it at all. Like I said, I think it hurt because I just heard Jim Ross on commentary, and I had to hear Fuckboy Phillips and Percy Watson on commentary, and then obviously too, that great UK title match kind of sucked all the life out of me. So that's just what I thought about it. So overall, just it wasn't bad, but it was just an average match. Nikki Cross just really needs to get out of the title picture. Like, damn. I hope this is the last time she's in the title picture. Have her have one more match against Asuka, have her get squashed and lose. There you go. That's how you get her out of the title picture forever. Okay, so next it shows a vignette for the Velveteen Dream. Oh boy. That's going to be terrible. I am not looking forward to that. That's just... No, but apparently he's debuting... Well, it says this Wednesday, but this happened 3 weeks ago, so it's the Wednesday after NXT Takeover Chicago. And, yeah. Release, Dream, Believe. The Velveteen Dream. This is gonna be bad. Okay, so we had the next match. It was an NXT Championship match. NXT Champion Bobby Roode versus Hideo Itami. And, Bobby Roode comes out with a, special entrance where, he has the electronic piano, like, on the entrance ramp. Doing the piano to like the theme song. I thought it was actually pretty cool. But we had the match itself, and the match starts off. They both start chain wrestling each other, and then Bobby Roode starts to get cocky. He goes to do his glorious pose, but Hideo Itami immediately goes to hit the go to sleep, and Roode rolls out of the ring to escape. And then Hideo Itami pretty much out wrestles Roode throughout the rest of the matchup, getting out of the matchup. And since he's dominating, Hideo Itami mocks Bobby Roode by doing the glorious taunt, and Roode goes to charge at him. Itami hits a knee to the gut, and he hits a snap nail and hits a knee drop to the head, and then he hits a kick right to the side of Roode's head, and eventually Hideo Itami goes to charge at him in the corner. Roode gets his knees up, and he hits a blockbuster from the second turnbuckle. And Bobby Roode works over the injured neck of Hideo Itami. He chokes him up again. He kicks the rope right into his throat, and he hits a neck breaker on him. Hideo Itami kicks out, and Bobby Roode dominates the rest of the matchup. Hideo Itami, Bobby Roode, he goes for a suplex. Itami tries to fight back, but Roode hits a wicked clothesline on him, and Bobby Roode eventually starts disrespecting Hideo Itami, and Hideo Itami just hits a wicked slap right to the face, and Bobby Roode goes to charge at him. Itami hits a drop kick on him, and then Hideo Itami starts to hit a comeback. He hits like a tornado, like he's going to do a tornado DDT, but instead he hangs him up on the top rope, and he hits a running drop kick. It covers him. Roode kicks out, and then Roode tries to throw Itami into the post, but Itami reverses it, and Roode goes shoulder first into the post. So Hideo Itami starts to target the injured shoulder by hitting a bunch of kicks on it. He goes for the Fujiwara armbar, but Roode's able to get to the ropes. And then Bobby Roode goes for the blockbuster neckbreaker again off the second turnbuckle, but this time Hideo Itami rolls up out of the way and hits a wicked clothesline on him, and Roode kicks out. And then he goes to charge at him in the corner with a clothesline, but Bobby Roode counters into a spine buster, covers him. Itami kicks out, and then they both really start going after each other. Hideo Itami throws Bobby Roode out of the ring, and he goes for a suicide dive on the floor, but Bobby Roode moves out of the way, and Roode throws Hideo Itami into the barricade, and then Roode goes to throw Itami into the steps. Itami reverses it. He goes for a running drop kick. Bobby Roode moves out of the way, and he ends up drop kicking the steel steps, which takes out Hideo Itami's knee. And then Roode hits a glorious DDT on Itami. Well, Itami goes for the go to sleep. Roode reverses it into the glorious DDT, and then covers him. Hideo Itami kicked out, which I was surprised about. I didn't think he was kicking out of that. So then Bobby Roode starts disrespecting him. Hideo Itami hits the go to sleep on him, but Roode rolls out of the ring. And since the title can't change hands off a count out, Hideo Itami had to put him back in. So he puts him back in, covers him. Roode kicks out, and then Roode and Itami really start going at each other. They both keep going for each other's finishes. They both keep reversing him. Itami hits a roll up on Roode. Roode still kicks out, and then eventually Roode hits a glorious DDT on Hideo Itami, but he still holds on to the move and hits a second glorious DDT and gets the victory. So Bobby Roode retained the NXT Championship, and I thought this was a really good match. Not the best NXT Championship match at its NXT special, but I thought this still was a really good match. The story I thought was really nice, and you know, obviously I thought these guys had really good chemistry with each other, so I thought the match was really good. And obviously it makes sense to keep the championship on Bobby Roode because there's really no need to take the title off him. He's actually doing some good stuff with the championship. Hideo Itami, I'm not sure if he'll ever be NXT champion or not. I don't know if this is going to be his last match or not. We would have to kind of wait and see on that. But I thought he had a very good performance here. This is probably the best match he's had in NXT, which isn't saying much because he's hasn't had a lot of big matches because he's been injured throughout half his run in NXT. But I thought he still had a really good match here. But Bobby Roode retained, and I'm happy that because it looks like the NXT Tag Team Championship match is going to main event. So I'm happy that match is going to main event because this match didn't really feel like a main event. And I thought this match was really good. Now the question is, where does Bobby Roode go from here? Who does he feud with? Maybe eventually you can build up Roderick strong because it seems like they want to really push him. There's a bunch of viable opponents for Bobby Roode to go against, so we'd have to wait and see. But overall, really good NXT Championship match. Okay, so then we had the main event. It was a ladder match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. NXT Tag Team Champions, the Authors of Pain, with Paul Ellering ringside versus #DIY. And this match was fantastic. Perfect match to main event, especially what happens afterwards, because there was nothing that was going to be able to follow this match. So I'm going to talk about it. So the Authors of Pain come out doing the big entrance where they have like the Star Wars skeleton mask on them again. And the match starts off, hashtag DIY, immediately go after the Authors of Pain. But the Authors of Pain, it looks like they're going to just destroy them. But Johnny Gargano hits a Enziguri onto Akam. And then they both start taking out the Authors of Pain. Tommaso Ciampa hits a knee driving Akam off the apron. Gargano hits like a super kick driving Rezal off the apron. And hashtag DIY go to grab some ladders. And the Authors of Pain ambush him from behind. Rezal throws Johnny Gargano into the barricade. And Akam throws Tommaso Ciampa into the barricade. And the Authors of Pain go to use the ladders. And hashtag DIY fight back. Johnny Gargano hits a suicide. Well, they grab the big ladder first, and they put it into the ring. And then Authors of Pain, they go to use it, but the Authors of Pain ambush him from behind. Johnny Gargano dives through the ladder, taking out both members of the Authors of Pain, which was a pretty cool spot. And hashtag DIY go to grab the titles, but the Authors of Pain take them out, and they hit double clotheslines on them, but hashtag DIY fight back. Johnny Gargano hits Akam in the face with a ladder, and Rezal, hashtag DIY hitting a double team move on Rezal in the corner, and Rezal hits a one-handed spinebuster to Gargano right onto Tommaso Ciampa, which looks pretty cool. And they go to grab the ladder, but hashtag DIY tip the ladder over. So the Authors of Pain get pissed about this. They try to hit the Super Collider on them, but hashtag DIY grab the ladder, and they act like they're going to grab the climbing to get the championships. But the Authors of Pain tip over the ladder, and the Authors of Pain dissect hashtag DIY after this. They kill the hashtag DIY. They beat the crap out of them. They throw Tommaso Ciampa into the corner with a ladder leaned up against it. And what else? Then they go to get up and get the titles, but they see that Akam's like holding the ladder down so Rezal can climb it, but they see that hashtag DIY are getting to the feet, so they dissect them some more. They grab two ladders and they set them up, bridge and like stack them up like against the barricade and the ring apron, and they're just gonna hit the a double power bomb onto hashtag DIY. But Tommaso Ciampa is able to fight out of it, and Johnny Gargano saves Tommaso Ciampa saves Johnny Gargano from being put through the ladder, and they both set up the Authors of Pain on those ladders, and hashtag DIY, the big ladder's set up, and they're just gonna and they go off the ladder, and Tommaso Ciampa hits a splash right through the ladder right under Rezal, and Johnny Gargano does the same thing to Rezal. And but the ladder doesn't break, maybe because Ciampa's a little bit bigger. I'm not really sure why it didn't break. And hashtag DIY go to grab the championships, but the Authors of Pain are able to get to their feet, and yeah, they take them out. Well, everybody's down, and then Tommaso Ciampa and Akam are going to grab the championships, and Johnny Gargano and Rezal on the other side, and Tommaso Ciampa gets knocked off. He tips the ladder over, and Johnny Gargano is able to land on his feet on the other ladder, and then they tip the ladder over again, and then they knock Akam off the ladder, and Johnny Gargano is just him in the ring. He's about to get the NXT Tag Team Championships, but then Paul Ellering pulls him down, tips the ladder over, and for this, Johnny Gargano super kicks Paul Ellering, and then Akam gets in the ring, and he hits a big boot to the chest of Johnny Gargano. The Authors of Pain are pissed that this happened, so they beat the crap out of Tommaso Ciampa, and they set a ladder up in the corner, and the Authors of Pain just beat the crap out of him. They pick him up with the ladder, and they're just about to cream Tommaso Ciampa. But Johnny Gargano saves him, and he gets smacked right off the face with the ladder. This looks brutal. And it's just down to, and the Authors of Pain are about to climb up and get the titles. Tommaso Ciampa's checking on Johnny Gargano, and he realizes it's just kind of up to him to get the titles. So Johnny Gargano goes up there, and he hits a German suplex, driving Akam through the ladder, and it explodes in the corner, which I thought was great. And then what happens? Something happens to, and then Johnny Gargano attacks Razor, and hashtag DIY. They have Razor like a ladder in his head, and the hashtag DIY hit meet me in the middle while the ladder's like thrown up against his head. And hashtag DIY go to win. They're about to become the NXT Tag Team Champions, but the Authors of Pain get to their feet, and they tip the ladder over. Hashtag DIY are just holding on to the championships, and they hit the but they're able to pull them off and hit the super collider on hashtag DIY. The Authors of Pain go up, climb the ladder, grab the championships, and they retain the NXT Tag Team Championships. I thought the match was fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. It was a really good NXT Tag Team Championship match. I'm glad it main evented. And this is the first time now in NXT special history that the NXT Tag Team Championship match main evented. It was only a matter of time. I really wish when hashtag DIY had won the NXT Tag Team Championships, that match had main evented, but I'm glad this match did. But there's a specific reason this match had to main event. Because afterwards, hashtag DIY are all upset they lost. So they leave. Everybody gives them a big standing ovation. And you actually think the show's going to go off the air. Because it has the thing on the bottom where it says like World Wrestling Entertainment copyright 2017. But then Tommaso Ciampa turns on Johnny Gargano. He attacks him. He throws him into like the Titantron, and he beats the crap out of him. And Johnny Gargano even like comes to, and he's like all surprised about this. And Tommaso Ciampa hits a knee right to his face, and then he picks him up on the announcer's table, does it again, and then Tommaso Ciampa ends it off by hitting like a Death Valley driver off the announcer's table, through 2 tables off the stage, and Tommaso Ciampa officially turned heel, and he actually got a proper heel reaction. He got booed out of the building, and Tommaso Ciampa just looks like a psycho killer. And I thought it came off fantastic. Now I do like the fact that the team broke up. I'm a little bit iffy about it on one hand though, just because of the fact that you have really no other teams in NXT really. It was just really these 2 teams that were like the big stars, and now they don't even have this team anymore. So it does kind of suck because now there's really no one to face the Authors of Pain for the NXT Tag Team Championships. But maybe they'll build up another team to take the titles from them. They still have a few months until NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3, so they do have time to do that. And so that sucks. But one thing I do like about it is it was just really damn awesome. And it makes sense in a way. You know, you have hashtag DIY who've done everything they could do as a team. They had great matches. They won the NXT Tag Team Championships. You know, they lost them to the Authors of Pain. They had their big rematch. They finally got their big one-on-one rematch. So what else could they really do as a team? You could have them be a team and continue to go after the titles, but then you're not really having them do anything. You could call them up to the main roster, but I think this is fantastic. This kind of gives Tommaso Ciampa and John Gargano, you know, a chance to really do something big in NXT, and I love it. Another reason I love this so much is now Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano can work as single stars, because we know they're a great tag team, but we also know that they're tremendous single stars, and this is a chance for them to finally utilize them in singles action. Also, too, you know, it's going to be I feel like this feud's going to be a great feud, just because you have Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, who are a tag team, and that can really tell some great storylines with it, and I can't wait to see. We could get big matches for NXT specials out of these 2 guys. I expect a match to probably happen in NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3, and then maybe like at the NXT special in September, in November, and then maybe like one more maybe in January of 2018. It's kind of iffy. So we could get a great program between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I can't wait for that. I also am happy because I don't ever have to hear Tom Phillips say "meet me in the middle" as a finisher ever again. I'm pretty damn happy about that, actually. And it's a great story to be told. You know, these were this is the first time they did like a real betrayal where you've had months of story behind it, because you know, we've had betrayals in NXT before, but the team either wasn't around very long, or the team, you had only known they were friends because of the stuff on the indies. This is kind of the first time you've seen a team develop in NXT, and you actually got to see like depth to it, so I like it. And one thing that Tommaso Ciampa, I hope they do bring up is, I hope they bring up the fact that Johnny Gargano defeated Tommaso Ciampa in the first round of the Cruiserweight Classics. And remember how fantastic that match was? That was a fantastic match. So think about it. If that match was great when it was just both of them being a team, and that had pretty decent story, imagine the chemistry they're going to have now that they've done this turn. I can't wait for it. I'm really looking forward to seeing a program between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. And I know it does suck for the tag division, because now you don't really have a credible team as of this moment to take the titles from the Authors of Pain. And you could have done some stuff too where #DIY got called up to the main roster and win the titles on the main roster. But I think what they did here was a great move. And as for this match main event, it made sense, because if this match didn't main event, I think it would have really killed the crowd, because this was like, there was going to be nothing else that could follow this. Like the NXT title match couldn't follow it. The NXT Women's title match sure as fuck wasn't going to follow that shit. The opening match wasn't going to follow that. It wasn't really a main event type of match. Maybe the UK title match would, but I feel like that match probably would have gotten shit on. So there was no. I'm glad this main evented. You know, you have #DIY, who have been a great team, but now I think it's time they can go be great single stars. I expect great things from Tommaso Ciampa. I still expect great things from Johnny Gargano, but I think they're gonna push Tommaso Ciampa a little bit more, and I can't wait to see what they do to follow up with this. So I thought overall the match was fantastic, the turn was fantastic, and thought it delivered. Okay, so next we had the Triple H Facebook Live interview, and pretty much what he did was he just kind of put over the show and talked about it in a kayfabe way. I thought it actually was a pretty decent interview. One thing he did mention was I kept forgetting to mention this, was he talked about the NXT Tag Team Championship match, you know, pretty much what happened, and he did mention Tommaso Ciampa's knee injury, because he mentions how it got hurt pretty bad, and that actually did happen at a live show before this show. Tommaso Ciampa ended up injuring his knee, so I don't know. I guess he won't be on for a few weeks. I don't know how serious the injury is, but yeah. But overall, the interview was good. I thought he did a very good job. He talked about everything he needed to talk about. I thought he did a good job putting over the angles, and I liked it. It was good. Alright, so my overall thoughts on this show is I thought the show was great. I thought it was fantastic. You know, I thought every match delivered, except, well, actually, the NXT Women's title match did deliver. I thought every match, the right person went over. And, you know, it just was a fantastic show. Good from top to bottom, nothing really to complain about. You know, I thought they, I'm just going to go over my star ratings and give my overall thoughts in each match. For the singles match, I'm probably going to give that match 3 stars. I thought that was a really good back and forth match. I like that Roderick Strong won, and I like the way he wrestled, how he tried to take out each member of Sanity. I thought overall that was great, and I think that's going to continue the feud, and they're starting to push Roderick Strong, so I'm happy about that. The United Kingdom Championship match was fantastic. Really good back and forth match. Having Jim Ross out there on commentary definitely made it feel special, so I thought that was great. Pete Dunn winning was obviously the right decision. Probably going to give that match, I don't know. I'll probably give it 3 3/4 stars because that was just a really damn good match. Really good back and forth. You could felt like the guys hated each other. For the NXT Women's Championship match, probably going to give that match 2 stars. It was really just an average match. And yeah, the only thing that was really good is they did hit some good moves on each other, and that Asuka won. So, and then for the NXT Championship match, probably going to give that match 3.5 stars. I thought it was a good back and forth matchup. I thought the storytelling was good, and obviously the white person went over. And then for the main event, I'm probably going to give that match 4 stars. For the NXT Tag Team Championship match, I thought that match was just a great match. Everybody throwing each other, hashtag DIY, getting an opportunity at the tag titles, continuing the dominance of the Authors of Pain. And I especially loved the ending when Tommaso Ciampa turned on Johnny Gargano. And now I can't wait to see a Tommaso Ciampa-Johnny Gargano feud. So overall, that was great. So overall, my thoughts on the show, as I thought this was a great show. If I had to rate this show, I'll probably rate it an 8.5 out of 10. I just thought it was great. Maybe a 9 out of 10, actually, because I can't really think of anything else really wrong with it. The only thing that really knocks it down is that NXT Women's title match. I even liked the Triple H exclusive interview. I even liked the Quiz Show on this show. So I'll probably rate it a 9 out of 10. It was, I thought, a great show. So that's my overall thoughts. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my CM Brothers and On the Talkinator channels because I'll be doing some videos on there as well. And make sure to subscribe to this channel for some more content. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.